Hi everyone, my name is Akshaj Piri and welcome to episode number 6 of Python Mastery. So before we start, let me ask you a very simple question. Can you tell me what this code is? Neither can I, and I wrote this code 2 weeks ago. This is what a code looks like if I have not used comments in it. And today we're going to fix this habit before it even begins. So first we'll do is we'll talk about single line comments. First we'll talk about what are comments, then we'll talk about single line comments, the idea of block comments, and triple quoted docstrings, and that's a professional way to document functions and files. None of these affect and how your program runs, and all of them affect and how you or anyone else can understand it later when you see it. The first thing we'll do is that we'll create a small Python file. We'll call it comments.py, and here we'll add a small print statement. We'll call it print hello. Nothing else, just this print hello. And I will try to run this one using the Python comments.py. So when I run this, it gives me a hello like we talked before, and we've done this many times. But now if I want to understand later on, this is very simple, but if I want to understand what this code is actually doing, I can write a simple text called this is a Python greeting. This is telling Python that this is telling me that this is a greeting. But as you can see, Python is a language of variables, and each of these words, as they're not in code, Python considers them as variables. But so we cannot run them easily. But what I can do is I can write a simple hash in front of this, and this has turned gray, and it tells Python to ignore it because this is now a comment. So when I try to run the same code, same exact way, it gives me hello, but this time I have an extra comment in it, and I can understand that this is a Python greeting. You don't have to always keep this comment on top of your code. You can put it also beside. You can also put it beside your code, and this will also work the same way. So wherever you like, you can put it as whichever is helpful for your visual appeal. Now we'll talk about, this is a single line comment, one line. But what if I have to add multiple lines? I can't do it in one go because it will look messy. And Python does not have a proper block comment syntax like JavaScript and Java. So what we can do is that we can add multiple stacked lines of comments, single line comments. For example, as you can see here, it has 3 lines of comments, and it is performed as a stack. So when I try to run it, write my code, it will probably give me my answer and give me the output. So as you can see, we have been able to do this using block comments. And now we'll talk about docstring. Docstrings are basically in triple quotes. As you can see, let me give you a small quote as I have given here. As you can see, these are not in double quotes or single quotes, these are in triple quotes. 3 double quotes to open and 3 to close. Everything inside this is a string and in multiple lines. Python does technically evaluate it, but since you're not assigning it to anything, it just gets discarded. The convention to use it is to be at top of a function or a class or a file as a formal documentation, never somewhere else. Let me show you 3 contexts. So first is a first level docstring. As you can see, we have the comment file, a comment.py before, and we'll talk about as string. We'll put this at the top of our file we are making. Then we'll write a small function called greet, and I have quoted it already. So what it does is that it takes a function name called greet and takes a name variable. And as you can see, I've put another docstring triple quotes comment here, and this is above the first line of a function, right after the def line. This function's job is that tells what the argument is, and it's in the format called Google style docstring, of the few correct conventions and the most readable format for beginners. And we'll run this. And you can look at that, Python reads a docstring and surfaces as a built-in documentation. That's not a coincidence. Python's help system basically is built around Docstring. So when you write one and you're plugging into a system, this is what it does. So what are Docstrings are not? One thing is that worth clearing up that triple quotes are not the same as block comments, or even though people say it sometimes that way. As you can see, I write a small code called, I've already commented it, and I'm mentioning as a comment because this is actually a string. So when I try to run this, it works because it's technically creating a string object and throwing it away. It's common shortcut, but it's not of the best practices. So if you want a comment out a section of code temporarily, we have to use the hash one on VS Code shortcuts. We select the lines and press Ctrl+/ on Windows or Command+/ on Mac. This toggles the comments on and off constantly. So now we'll create a small calculator file. So we'll create a new file called calculator.py. We have this file, and I already printed out this code before. So what it does is that we have a docstring of triple quotes above, and basically tells what the file name is and what's its function. Then we created a function called add with two variables a and b, and created another docstring with triple quotes where it says the function. What this function actually does is that it returns the sum of a and b, it gives it arguments, and we have another hash one, as you can see here. From top to bottom, as you can see, you don't need Python to you don't need to know Python to understand what it does. That is great because this code documents it clearly enough for that the comments feel obvious. And so when I run it, put calculator.py instead of that, and we have put 10 and 15, so we get 15 here. So let's do a small recap of what we have covered. We have covered hash is for single line comments. It explains the why and not the what. Stacked hash lines for block comments above a section of logic. Triple quoted docstring are at the top of the files or functions or classes for formal documentation. And help reads the docstring. Writing them, it plugs you into Python's own doc system. And triple quotes are not block comments. We use Ctrl+/ or Command+/ to toggle the real ones. So that's the video, guys. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.